Welcome back. I know every single one of us knows what's happening between Liverpool and Mo Salah. I'll discuss whether it was right for them to make an interview or whether it was not right on Hotel Salah. I want to talk about what would happen if Salah was to stay or to leave, and what do I do if other people support them. So let's do it. I do think that Salah stays until should be gone. I don't think the relationship has any potential of being repaired. I don't think right now. I think it'd be even healthy for the team to have both those guys be on the same team together, right? I think the atmosphere won't be that great. I think for one to stay, one has to be fired or leave. And if someone was to stay, I do think I thought should be sacked. And when I mentioned was to come in, either be Xabi Alonso, either be on top, either be Steven Shower, I be Xavi. I don't think they can continue with a 43. I don't think 43 is the answer to any of their problems right now. We've seen a very long run of games, but the 43 hasn't really worked for Liverpool. We see them play with Ekatike left wing, see a lot of different solutions, that player profiles, every single position. I don't think 43 can work. Looking at last year's squad, this year's squad, they're very different. And that's the reason why the 43 isn't working, and why from last year to this year we see so big of a change in the performance, because this year's team is very different to what they had last year. So I think any match is going to mean they have to find another solution to play. And I have two solutions here that I would like. The first one is a classic 4-4-2 formation with all right mid, Capo, first left mid, is actually taking up front. Now, I saw it on Twitter. If I find it, I'm going to put it up on screen for my guy there on Twitter. I would like it, right? I think it gives you a very good defensive block because defensively they've been kind of poor this season. So being able to play this close to lines in defense and midfield obviously gives a bit more certainty defensively, and obviously kind of is able to for you to play as Ekatike up front together, so being able to play Salah in the right mid, and to be able to play either Verts or Gap with left mid where you want to play them. On paper looks good. I don't think that opportunity arises. Maybe it should be given a try or two, depending on which players are available. But looking at that information, the main problem is the players. I don't think it really fits the players the best. Obviously, Salah being right mid, I don't think it really fits him the best because obviously he's a guy that's becoming older. You're gonna have to make him run less, and playing right mid has more control over, has more defensive possibilities for him to have. So kind of sacrifice more of his offense. I don't really think that's a move to do here with Salah. Even play left mid, like Gapo, can Gapo make that defensive possibilities? Can Verts still play well at left mid? I don't know. Even without the midfield, you look at the options you have. Salah, Michael, and Gravenberch. Who do you take off from that team? I mean, I don't think you can take off Gravenberch because he's an amazing midfielder. I don't think you can take off Salah because he's been the best player this season. You take off Mickelson, but he's a guy that's been very good still. Also, this year kind of taken a bit of a different form at the beginning of the season, but still an amazing player. And he's a guy who was on the player of the year shortlist from last year. So we'll take off. I don't think it's really worth or any of them deserve to be put on the bench because such a fit in either Verts or Salah or what is like Ekatike, I don't think it makes sense to try and put and sacrifice on the midfielders to then go and play with one of the main players instead. Let's put it that way. For me, the best option was to go to 4-4-2 time midfield. They played last game against Inter. Also, we saw them play against Inter in this 4-4-2 with Ekatike, Isaac up front, McAllister, Curtis Jones, Light, and Garbash in midfield. And I want to replicate that with Salah as the right striker. I know it must sound weird. We've seen Salah as a right winger for a whole lifespan, and he's been an amazing winger. But now with age coming up and his legs being kind of gone, and stamina is also kind of dying as the months pass by, I do think that Salah playing as a striker should probably be the best for him. We've seen Heung-min Son also kind of have that transition from left winger to striker for Tottenham, and for some point there, it did work very well for him in terms of being able to score more goals for the team. And Salah is a guy, obviously, as I said, as last space. Unless you saw him kind of take away some of the defensive possibilities to be better in offense. And playing as a striker, the defensive possibilities he has will be way less than what he had at winger. So you have you have the possibility to be able to evolve more to offense, play more close to his teammates, be able to play 1-2s of Isaac Ekatike be on the left striker, be able to play with more midfielders behind him, be able to have to kind of be able to run more runs behind the defense, be able to have players behind them, be able to do those passes to kind of provide them with those runs. I do feel like that maybe playing more close to the goal, still in those kind of those right half spaces, likes to play in. Obviously, not maybe able to go out wide and inside more often as like it did last year, previous years. But I think right now, with the team as it is, with the player as it is right now, with the age coming up, I do think maybe playing as a striker is the best option. I think when Verts comes back as well, number 10, when you see Frimpong or Bradley's right back, I think the team can quick maybe more because Sergio Gomez played right back last game against Inter. I think if it was Frimpong or Bradley with those balls in those zones that he had, Liverpool would be much better as a team. Even with Verse behind them to create opportunities for Salah as well, for other strikers as well. I feel like that team with Salah as a right striker can very much click. And if I was to stay, I think that this 4-4-2 midfield will probably be the best formation you can possibly find for all the main players to play together and for the team to have both good defensive ability and both good offensive output. Now, if it does leave, I do think that maybe right now is the most realistic option because looking at the reports, I think Liverpool's board is getting more on the outside side than what it is on the outside, and we're probably going to see Salah leave on the winter. Either to Saudi Arabia, either to MLS, either to an European club, whatever happens, happens. But I do think that right now Salah is the most likely to leave, right? And if that comes, I think that there will be two options for them to go ahead. Keep the 4-4-2 going or making a replacement and keep playing 43. I think for me the best answer is keep going forward to keep trying it out because against Inter, obviously it's a team that's difficult to play against. We're the best team in Champions League this year. Also, it's a team that also is very well defensively. So for the team that's been playing this 4-4-2 formation for the first time ever in a game, obviously it's gonna take a while to kind of be settled into formation or whatever not. And for the game against Inter, and without the formation, I feel like there are more the good signs and bad signs in this game for them to continue going forward too. Also, they don't really have the best squad available. When Verse comes in number 10, be able to give their creativity in the final third because that team, I think, is a big lack of creativity. And Storch was able to create at a high level. Then Isaac and TK, I don't really know how what they can create each other. But Verse can come in, able to give their creativity in the final third. Place number 10, that's really been playing as a number 2. So maybe that's also playing formation can also give Verse a platform to come back to his best form. Play formation, play a position where he always plays with Kison. Maybe it's best for him as well. And Storch was a guy that even last game played more as a central midfield role. He plays number 8 on the right, so you can put McAllister as number 8 on the left, Garbage at the pivots, and bring in Verse number 10. I think that also can help the team offensively, also help the team defensively. Looking at that formation, you can either play a 4-2-4 off the ball with 4 players pressing up high, and then as the ball progresses, you can play 4-4-2 with those lines of the deep block, playing that defensive block. I feel like also brings you the best offensively, with Verse playing behind you, Isak and Ketika, your two best strikers playing together. You have a lot of control in the midfield, also being able to play very well defensively. And also, the main thing I kind of feel that Liverpool has had struggles with this year is the build-up. Also, Trent out, you don't really have anyone who's able to do what he did in terms of build-up. And to have this formation where 4 midfielders in your team who's able to kind of come in, drop after the build-up, also be very big. And also problems have the build-up because losing Trent is a guy who has been so good for you in terms of build-up, also be very important, right? And bringing a formation that's able to kind of solve those problems because for midfielders, right? You can see how much the pivot, because you can drop and kind of get that double pivot going and make 2 players that reverse fit out the build-up, or can start to drop and can see some constant movements around the midfield that's able to make Liverpool better in terms of build-up. So this helps the team offensively, defensively, and in terms of build-up can also help the team. So I feel like this is an answer for prior problems. Obviously, the one thing that's still lacking a little bit, and that we saw a lot of bad signs from, was the Isak and Ketika partnership up front. I saw a stat on Twitter that it said that Isak and Ketika did not pass a single time to one another. And obviously, it's a bit of a problem because that partnership has to be good for this system to work. And obviously, I think we're seeing 2 games where they played together, one against Frankfurt and one against this one. Against Frankfurt, we actually saw Ketika score in that game and ended up actually being 5-1. So I don't know, maybe it's just the first time play together, maybe be a bit harder to kind of settle in together. Maybe it was the game that really give the platform for them both to play together. But also in training, and I feel like with time, they can kind of turn that out. Also, I think the one main problem I see with that partnership is the fact that both are very similar players. Both are guys who would like to kind of drop deep as well, play more off the left as well. I think it's a guy that likes to also make runs around the defense. So maybe I think it can be a guy that can platform that as well. I think the key for this to work offensively is with both those guys playing well. If not, maybe we see Gakpo come in, play more of a striker role, or whatever. Maybe come next winter and try to make it a more striker backup in terms of trying to make that partnership up front to work. Might not be with Isaac Ketika, might be with Isaac other guy or Ketika other guy. We'll see as time goes. Also, it's still very early on, only one game. We don't know how much that partnership is going to work. if Liverpool wants to go into winter and try and find a solid replacement and bring in someone to play as right winger now, because from reports that Liverpool has been interested in Samuel a lot and whatever, many reports to say that Liverpool wants to keep going to 43, but looking at slots like when the first time without Salah they played this 4-4-2, I don't think that is in his mind to keep going to solid replacement or keep going to 43. But still, the occasion that if they do go looking for solid replacement, they do go looking for the 43 to come back to the team. I find here two names I think are going to be very good solid replacements. The first name is Emmanuel. Also, I think it's the most realistic candidate because he's a player that is primarily proven, that has been more experienced out of all the options we have on the market. Again, he's probably the best option ever on the market. The ones more open to leaving as well, and the ones most accessible to leaving as well. So maybe also this is someone that Liverpool has been getting his eyes on for half a year, it seems nowadays. And also maybe the one player that every single Premier League club wants and is looking for to try and buy into winter. And Semenyo, as I said, primarily proven, who for me is a very big plus. And he also is at one same age that Salah was when he first joined Liverpool from Roma. So maybe also see kind of similar path line to Semenyo to kind of have his development cut off in Liverpool. I don't know, because that one thing I like about Salah and his game is his all-rounders. He's an amazing finisher, he's an amazing creator, has amazing plays as well. And Semenyo, I don't think he has that yet. Obviously, yes, his goal scoring game, even though I think Salah's goal scoring game is at this point, Semenyo's maybe at this level. And in terms of creativity, I don't think Semenyo has our creativity Salah had. Obviously, base Semenyo has that as well. Maybe you can see, because obviously Salah didn't come to Liverpool as a player that we obviously see him now. Obviously, had to go towards a phase of development. I don't know how open or how good Semenyo can have that development. Because obviously, it's being more of a late bloomer, like as Salah did. So maybe you can kind of see more of his development coming towards the point of his career. You can kind of see a more complete version of him in his first 2 years at Liverpool. I don't know. I thought it would be a very big question for Semenyo's career as well. Not only Liverpool, also other clubs. How much be able to develop this game? Is he going to be able to develop a consistent scoring game? Is he going to be able to develop his creativity? Is he going to be able to develop his around-us, his defensive possibilities as well? I don't know, right? This is a big question. Obviously, also be a risk taken. I don't know. I don't think any player on the market is going to be able to come in and give what more has given to you in the past 8, 7 years, or even 9 years. So I think it's going to be a tough task to do to come in and beat replacements. So I don't think any political means should be having these big expectations of being able to do what Salah has done in the past couple of years. Maybe I think Semenyo maybe the most ready player on the market to be able to do that. Second player is Edmond from Leipzig. This is definitely the most risky and the most expensive option of all of those on the market. This is a guy that barely has a year of first experience. He's been playing half year at Leipzig, trying to summer, and I think he played like maybe half year like last year. But this is a guy that, even though obviously he has only a year of first experience, is a guy that his ceiling is so high. Instead of looking at him, you can see one of those wingers, obviously very fast, regular dribbling. But the one thing about this game that I really like is his end product. It's able to score goals consistently. It's able to also have a bit of creativity in his game. Also, a guy that can play on the left, on the right, which is also very good for the club. And also, as I said, it's going to be a very risky signing because you don't really know how well he will perform. This is a guy that's obviously only seen him from half a year. You don't know what is a purple patch. You don't know if his development is there or not. You don't know if he has any injury issues yet. So it's going to be a very big question mark for Liverpool to go in and try to sign him. Also because the transfer fee for him will probably be even higher than Semenyo's. So I don't think it's going to be the most I'll say this, like the best option for that Liverpool to go in this winter. Demon is probably the player that if you want to wait until summer to final placements, Demon then wait for the development for the next half a year. See how he's at Leipzig. See how he's performing doing a full year of actual football, and then can assess better or whether you want to menu or whether you want to go with him on there. Because Demon is a guy that I watch him play. He's been amazing. Obviously, I still haven't seen enough of him yet to know whether he's good enough to be able to dribble in close spaces, to be able to break down the blocks at a high level. In terms of playing with pace, being able to attack the space behind the defensive line is one of the best players in the world already at doing so. It's a guy that, goal scoring wise, is amazing. In the box, also the box, he's been amazing at both of those. And in terms of also his creativity is kind of there, but not really there. Most of the assists have come from simple passes, but so I want to see kind of more his development creativity. I think has shown the willingness to create for others. That's a big plus in them. Obviously, I do think he still has some flaws in this game. He's still a bit of a raw prospect. His strength is still a bit slimy. When Premier League, he might have to put up a bit of a weight, like Salah did when he came to Liverpool. Also, again, I said, his creativity. I don't know how well it still is on the defensive side. So there's a lot of question marks around him still. But I find Semenyo, if you want a guy that's ready to play in the winter, Semenyo might be the guy that you want to go in. But if you want to win, and to the summer to assess better options, then one there probably a guy that at the time to the summer will probably be a better player, a more proven player as well, and probably I don't know, I won't say the best option because also throughout this is Alfier. I want to see more of Semenyo's development and his work at Bournemouth. If you're going to see him scoring more goals, because we saw him score a lot more goals in the beginning of the season, and now it's going to dry down in the last period. So no, maybe for Liverpool, the best is to wait off the year, see how Semenyo's development goes, see if you can able to kind of build on the great start of the season he had, and see how Demonder's development is also done, and see how they can be able to build from that. Now, overall, I'm Team Salah stays. I know it might be controversial, but I don't think Ancelotti is in a position where his job is even safe at this point. Also, won against Inter, but not really a game where they won fairly or won like really playing very well. I don't think Ancelotti is in a position to say that his job is safe or untouchable. If I was Liverpool, I wouldn't be able to leave the possibility that Ancelotti maybe leaves us in a month or two, and because of Slot, we kick off Salah to curb. He's a good legend. He's a guy that's still an amazing football player. He put him in the right environment, right position in the formation. He can be so good for you. He's carried you the last year. He's won the Premier League title. He's had one of the greatest ever seasons Premier League history last year. He's had a record-breaking number of goals and assists for Liverpool. He's a guy that's been carrying your team for the past 9 years, been the best player for the past 9 years. I don't think it makes sense for you to kick a couple into the curb, sell him to winter because of a feud with a manager that's on slots that I don't think has a chef's off. I've been looking at right now. Maybe I'll also the thing that's kind of beating me the most about signing Ancelotti is the fact that not really that good managers. Maybe going to winter, you see Xabi Alonso probably being sacked from Real Madrid. I don't think that his future at Real Madrid is really the best or the brightest. I think any manager we're going to come to that team going to struggle a lot. And Xabi does get fired. I think Liverpool has had to move ahead of him immediately and try to go for him. If not, Steven Gerrard also a guy that I don't really dislike as a short-term option, or even during the right making me again. I don't know. I think that there are some options, and maybe if you wait a few more weeks, you can possibly assess it a bit more. And if that comes, I feel like second Onslaught is probably the best option because I don't think he's done enough this season. I don't think, obviously, because we talk about so much about adaptability with some rings and some managers. Tottenham Mina played the system as he did in the 43 at Liverpool, and it's coming this summer and this season, and he's seen the 43 now work at Liverpool, and not been able to adapt, not been able to find a solution for that team. Obviously, now gone forward to them in midfield. Hopefully, you can see him go with that midfield with that formation more towards the future, but also to play forward two because he had Gakpo gets out. So I don't know how what point they show the formation because some players are out because we've seen him favor Gakpo a lot this summer. So I don't know this season. So I don't know what really what he's thinking moving forward. So maybe Salah can leave Afcon in next week. So go back against Brighton, add him to the squad, maybe playing better some minutes here and there. Then add him with Afcon. And when he returns from Afcon, I feel like you have a better view of what you want from one slot, of what you want from your team, or what your team looks like, or what you want to sack him or not. If he is to be sacked, you bring Salah back in the team. I feel like this is going to be very Liverpool. But then Liverpool, if the team does actually start to play good football, either in the 43 or in the 4-4-2 on slot, maybe it's a time to kind of be farewell Salah, but make sure that you end him on his terms. You make him a good farewell. You don't want to end it in bad waters. I feel like that's the worst possible thing you can do to a legend.